Yes, hello, audiences. Again, another episode here at Reality Unscripted. This is your host, once again, Mr. Told You So. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend and are ready for the new week to come. Um, in this episode, we're going to discuss on how society actually shapes the way most people think. Now, wondering if any of the view audiences actually bother to observe your surroundings wherever you go. And what I mean by that is, do you observe the way the individuals around you are interacting, the way they're possibly conversing with the individuals that they're with, and the actions that they're doing around you? And the reason why I ask this is because I may have mentioned it briefly in my previous episode, the most previous episode that is, but I stated that, I might be talking about how high of an influence the society actually has toward how individuals think. And I'm sure most people probably know a bit about this already, and they just probably don't bother to think about it because it's probably something that they just have accepted as a norm of lifestyle or whatnot. But I decided that this would be the episode to talk about this, and I think it's important to talk about it because how many individuals are actually doing and being honest to themselves, doing what they feel that they like to do on a daily basis with the surroundings that they're given or that they have to be with. For example, social media is a big part of it for sure. But do you ever go to a place, let's say, for example, a restaurant, mostly surrounding areas where most public areas of gatherings take place. And some of these places will have the loud, obnoxious individuals, and some of them will have more of a calmer type of vibe. But I've noticed that a lot of the things that people do these days have no sense to it. It's almost like, if you look in social media, for example, right, someone's going to post something. This is a good example. And it's like everyone tries to be the same and just a little bit of a tweet, almost like they're competing to gain that style and to make it theirs, right? Even knowingly that it might not even be who they really are. A good example of this as well is when individuals are just joking around. For example, a lot of the jokes that these individuals are actually laughing about, you have to be honest to yourself. Do you ever question, are they actually funny? Like, I'm gonna try to put a number to it, right? But it's not exact. 95% of the time, I don't find any of these jokes funny at all. In fact, it's very insulting which is the whole point. They're insulting the videos and it's jokes, but some of these jokes are really nasty jokes, and I'm wondering if people just accepted that to be the way things should be. You see what I mean? And I mean, to me, it's not okay, but it really depends on who the individual is. I just feel that people are doing things because they just feel that they have a need to be in that type of setting and almost like being forced to be a part of it. If you want to call it, a lack of a better word, the desire for acceptance, fear of rejection, or the comfort of belonging to a group. Now, to me, if I were to be in a group like that, I'd rather, to be honestly, be solo, right? Because at least I'm doing what I feel is right for myself, and also what I feel I'm enjoying. Because I would actually be enjoying and laughing at jokes that don't make any sense. right? I can't really think of any examples now, of course, because, I'm giving the general example of it, but things that have no sense to it whatsoever. Probably some individuals that just probably got something from a social media source or whatnot, or a part of their day that most people are just laughing about it. They probably twisted it around. I'm just giving an example, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is even within the truth of the context. And for some reason, most people will just go along with that, even though they don't find it funny. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because you have to really reflect, right? If you compare your individuals to this everyday setting that you go to, right? And once again, I'm always going to put simulation theory into it whenever I have the chance, but maybe it could be a programming in the system or whatnot. But nevertheless, you have to start questioning if you are with these individuals on a daily basis, and have to be honest to yourself, how many of the things that you actually connect with these individuals would be. So in other words, are you just being there with these individuals because, like I stated, desire for acceptance, fear of rejection, or the comfort of belonging to a group? Or are you actually truthfully wanting to be with these individuals? Not very truthfully, but wanting to be with these individuals, great. That's the way life should be. I mean, if you're not honest to yourself, no one else will be. That's the way I see it, right? But I find it hard to believe that most people are actually truthful with the circle that they're with. It's almost like they're willing to sacrifice their individuality for the purpose of a desire for acceptance, fear of rejection, or the comfort of belonging to a group. And of course, I'm just reading this of what these behaviors would stem from on the reason for, or how powerful, or should I say, the level of how society can actually influence individuals and the reasoning to it. Right, just do a little search on it, and that's the reason why it is. Now, based on, of course, suggestions on basic online search. Now, to me, I mean, it would bother me to know that everything I'm doing in life is just for the fact of the desire of acceptance, fear of rejection, or the comfort of belonging to a group. Because in other words, how different is that from being like just programmed as a robot, for example? It's almost no different, right? So when you really think about it, that's the reality of it. You're not even, the individuality in yourself has practically been taken over by a group of individuals who are running the way you behave. I do believe a lot of the world's issues kind of come from that, because individuality is actually fading away very slowly. And, like I said, it's easier said than done. Like, most people cannot stand on their own. They'd rather be standing for something that doesn't make sense than to really stand on their own, because I completely get it. It's not always going to be a simple scenario. The pressures of high school, for example, it's crazy nowadays with social media. It was bad enough before then, but now, it's almost like you have to be part of it, but you never had to be part of it. Remember, you always have a choice. If there's any choice in the simulation, if anything, I think the only choice it is the way you think, right? And it kind of sets the stage from there, if any, right? Because I am a big believer that a lot of things, there's less choice than more than you would have in life. And that's definitely one episode that I should do on as well. I probably mentioned it a few times here and there on my episodes, but there's a lot of scientific evidence for that as well. But we're not going to talk about that in this one. I might just throw it here and there. Now, the reason why this is also important to know is it really does shape who you might actually be with. For example, I remember a time when someone was talking about one of the most popular girls in a school setting. And this individual could have been with anyone they wanted. Guess who they chose? They chose the individual that was bad for them. And the reason why that is, based on my sources, right, is because that individual was influenced by their friends